Today on the show, John Cena glazes Logan Paul, Cody mentions The Rock's name, and Jey Uso says Yeet. Oh, Andrade, yes, Andrade and Naomi qualify for Money in the Bank. This is Holla if you hear me, and welcome back to another weekly episode of SmackDown Recap. I'm Fraz, and joining me as always is the kayfabe assassin, Andi Nero, and the ring historian, Dirty Dave. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share the shit out of this video with your friends, family, and people you don't know. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it, gentlemen. How are we?
Superb.
Fantastic.
Now, have we both watched SmackDown this week?
Yes, we did. I did.
Are we going to have a comprehensive review of the show?
As comprehensive as we can manage, I guess.
What's the matter, gents? Cat got your tongue or?
I think someone might be alluding to the fact that I've been on holiday, so I haven't had a chance to watch everything, but I have seen the results. I've watched lots of videos on media, and I will be able to give you my opinions, don't worry.
Excellent. So where do we want to start?
Well, I mean, I alluded to it if nobody saw it in the news bulletin over the weekend, or on Monday, I should say, talking about some releases. I mean, I have personal opinions about releases. I don't know whether to cover them now or later in the show, but I feel all sorts of ways about these releases. Don't know how you boys feel about it. R-Truth and Carlito. Big news.
Well, go for it, Andy. If you want to talk about R-Truth now,
I think
you can.
Yeah, I'll talk about R-Truth now because he's a SmackDown guy, but the fact that he was on the show on Friday and got his marching orders on Saturday is just incredible. Just unreal. Or Sunday, I think it might have been actually. But yeah, it's just mad. Like the guy's over as hell, and obviously selling merch as well. Like he's helping to sell John Cena's merch, which he doesn't really need to help, but he's over as fuck. People were cheering him, chanting him, and everything. And even, you know, it's just mad. Like, I get it, he's 53 or something, and his time is coming to an end, and I genuinely believe he'll get a Legends contract soon, but why even bother releasing him in the first place?
Well, I read today that they did offer him a contract for less money to do less dates and do less work, obviously because of his age, but he declined it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what I read today.
I just think it's a bummer that he's gone. And, you know, whether SmackDown was actually good or bad, he would always be funny if he appeared on the show. Realistically, what good is going to come from him leaving the show? He's super over. He's one of the top merch sellers. You know, he obviously has value in the eyes of creative. Otherwise, I wouldn't put him in a program with Cena only a week ago. It just makes no sense at all. And by releasing him, it has no impact on the bottom line figure at all, does it? Like, they're not saving a drastic amount of money by getting rid of R-Truth. If anything, he makes them loads of money. And if they knew they weren't going to renew it anyway, why on earth didn't they just make the Cena match a retirement match? You know, and give him a proper hurrah.
Proper hurrah, proper send-off, or... Yeah. You know, but go on. Sorry, Dave.
No, I was just going to agree that. I mean, that would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, he's been John Cena's lifelong fan. He's always loved John Cena. You'd work that into the storyline. That would actually make sense for it to be a non-title match. For, you know, the stipulation is Truth has to win, or, you know, his career's over. It's a bit weird. I kind of thought it was a work. He's opened an OnlyFans account by accident and thought he was opening a Twitter account. So, you know, has he done that on purpose? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm still not entirely sure how accurate this is. But, yeah, it's very weird to invest in someone. You've just created a brand new T-shirt for someone 2 weeks ago. You know, so the money you've already spent, you know, promoting where he is currently is all down the drain. You know, they've stopped selling everything. You just think they've just wasted money. It doesn't make any sense. It's very odd. Very odd.
I did see a hot take on X. Imagine he goes to AEW and basically goes around the locker room and speaks to all the old WWE people going, "Hey man, where the hell have you been? I've been looking for you." You know, and maybe
That
call
would be-
himself R False.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah, I mean that wherever he goes next, he's going to be loved. And if he has decided himself that he didn't want to renew the contract and he wants to pursue other things, or maybe just call it a day,
Yeah,
I don't know. But
this
you've
is
got
the
to
thing,
respect that, haven't you?
Yeah, I think this is the thing at the moment. Everybody's blaming WWE, but I mean, if his contract, we don't know when his contract was due to expire. He's been offered a new contract and he declined it. So that's pretty much where we're at. So whose fault was that? I don't know. Maybe they put him in this match with Cena and started to give him a bit more to do and give him some merchandise in a bit of a sweetener to attempt to get him to sign a new contract, and then he hasn't. It's easy to blame WWE, but it might actually not be them. It might be him. We don't know. No one's saying anything yet. I think the one where we know 100% it's WWE is the Carlito one.
When we say WWE, do we not mean TKO or?
Well, some say that it's TKO, some say that it's Hunter, because obviously Hunter's the head of creative, and if he feels he hasn't got anything for these people, he goes to TKO and says, "Nick, I've got nothing for this guy. Save some money if you can."
Maybe
surely that wasn't the case for our truth. I mean,
Well, apparently it was, according to Raja and all the other Wrestle Talk and all that sort of thing. So Raja, whatever you want to call it.
I've heard. Call it Raja.
I've heard alternative pronunciations on it. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Andy. I mean, there's been a lot on, but like Fraz says, I can't see we're saving that much. I mean, realistically, guys, he has done nothing for a while apart from this very recent little Cena run. So, you know, maybe this was just given to him as a golden handshake. You know, really for the rest of this year, what has he done?
Well, he had.
Yeah, but then why have him on SmackDown though?
Yeah,
why have him on SmackDown?
No, yeah, I'm not saying everything makes sense, but I'm just saying realistically, he hasn't actually done. Would you say he's earned his contract this year?
100%. He's comedy gold every time. Every time he's on a show, Dave, he is comedy gold. It's been like that for well over a year.
Exactly, but how? I don't know.
But that's irrelevant, isn't it? Like he's getting TV time. If
you
look at someone like Karrion Kross, if you look at someone like Karrion Kross at the moment, who's getting like 30 seconds of TV, and the fans are going absolutely batshit crazy for him, like a pack of dogs wanting him on there. It's the same as our truth. Like, you know, when he is on the show every week, whether he's on there for 30 seconds or whether he's on there for 3 minutes, he is gold, and it's one of the talking points of the week. Like when he had his Judgment Day run, that was funny. He's come over to SmackDown. He started to recently do this John Cena stuff, the bits with Jimmy Uso as well. You know, I think he definitely deserves it, and he's a legend. You can't just write off 20 years of him being in the business.
I think you also have to remember that there is a house show circuit as well. I would be very, very surprised if he wasn't prevalent on the house show run, because obviously that's where he would have earned his money, going around the towns and doing the house show runs. He would be a predominantly house show talent. You know, there's so many talent on the roster that they think, well, we don't get the chance to use everyone on TV.
So many talent.
So many talent on the roster that we can't use everyone. But yeah, so I think he probably would have earned it just being on the house show circuits for what he did there.
So would you rather? I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I'm not implying anything. This is just devil's advocate.
You're just playing devil's advocate.
If he's not on TV now, there could potentially be more time for Karrion Kross. So would you rather Karrion Kross got more TV time, or would you rather we had our truth? It's a difficult one. I'm not even saying that's the only option, but I'm just saying.
If they were on the same show, then I would say yes, okay, I agree with you. But
that's not my opinion. I'm devil's advocate.
They're not at all.
So what about Carlito?
Carlito?
Because he's comedy gold.
I'm not as sad about Carlito.
He hasn't really done anything, has he? Bless him. I mean, I like Carlito, but they changed his music and it went downhill from there, really, didn't it? It was funny with Judgment Day, but
what's the best thing he's done since he's been back? Taking that spear from Bron Breakker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to feel sorry for him. Let's not spend the whole show talking about him. I wish him all the best. I'm sure you guys do as well.
Well, just quickly before we move on, what about the fact that the Miz has deleted everything WWE off his Twitter account?
Yeah, I read that.
He's due up in July.
Gunther has also erased anything wrestling on his X account as well. But I wouldn't read too much into that at the moment.
No, Gunther's not going anywhere, is he? Let's be fair. But
I don't think that the Miz is going to either.
I think the Miz is due up in July. If his contract is to expire, it's in July.
And he has just won the contract to host the new American Gladiators TV show. So he's going to be away. Yeah, it is all a bit odd. Don't want to see anyone lose their jobs. You just got to wish everyone okay. And maybe at some point in the near future, we'll get some detail behind it.
Or maybe they just come back around. Yes.
Really. Right, okay, let's move on. I just wanted to say that the 3-hour SmackDown deal has been extended to the fall. Did you read about this?
Boo earns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think SmackDown, the last 2 weeks, if you watch our recaps, we've all agreed it's got better, and it's got better for one reason, and that is the tag team division. And I don't know if you saw the segment on SmackDown when the Street Profits came out and said, you know, we're the champions of the best tag team division in the world at the moment. I agree. There are lots of tag teams, and what better way to showcase their talents than use that wisely. The booking has been good for the last few weeks. I don't know about you guys, but I thought SmackDown this week was as good, if not better, than Raw. And we'll get to that when we do the recap of Raw. But I think just the fact that you've got those big stars in the main event, the women are doing their jobs right, and the tag team division, like as I say, fucking shit hot. So I'm not too annoyed about the 3-hour thing being extended. If we're going to see quality matches.
I've always said if they get the format right, it's okay, but they haven't got the format right or the order. But, you know, I saw the order of the matches and the backstage segments, and I thought, oh, that makes sense. You can see the show building, you know, as you look through the results and the card. And I thought, okay, this looks like a show that makes sense. Doesn't look like it's skipping all over the place. Doesn't look like there's too many peaks and troughs. So if they do that and the show runs and it doesn't feel like 6 hours, great.
Magic. Andy, any thoughts?
So it's a bit of a not very hot take, but the thing holding SmackDown back for me at the moment is oddly the main event scene. I am enjoying what the women are doing. I'm enjoying the tag team division, obviously, and I'm enjoying what's going on with Jacob Fatu. I mean, to me, Jacob Fatu is the highlight of the show. Him and Solo and JC and everything those three are doing is absolute money. Throwing Damian Priest into the mix, we'll get to that in a bit, but yeah, it's just money. It's just doing so well at the moment. I'm really into Jacob Fatu. I love his vibe and I love his groove. But yeah, I think they are the highlights for me on the show each week. The main event scene with Cody, Cena, when we see him, if we see him, and it's just like, I because of the character, I just kind of don't care. But that's my opinion. But like,
who are we talking about specifically there, Cena or Cody?
Yes, both. A little from column A, a little from column B. I was hoping for something new from Cody. I know obviously he's a big merch seller, big money name and everything, but I was hoping for something new from Cody, a bit of an edgier approach, a bit of a changing character perhaps, but I'm not. I mean, he's only been back for one segment, so I can't really say too much, but I'm not excited by it.
Let's segue to the promo then, the last 20 minutes of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, did you see it?
Which promo? Oh, the
main event. The main event segment.
I definitely saw snippets of it. I couldn't guarantee that I saw the whole thing based on the videos that I saw, but I thought it was really good to have them all in the ring. I thought Cody looked awesome.
I'll start this off, gentlemen. So it was disjointed main event segment, considering they had 20 minutes. Cody came out first, and he had about 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes of just talking in the ring. Now, maybe we had different opinions of this, Andy, but I thought Cody was great when he got on the mic. He was a lot edgier. He was a lot more pissed off. He was fired up. He was like, despite the fact I have no idea, this is why I included in the intro, why he mentioned The Rock, the final boss, and about his soul and stuff. Like, there was no reaction there. They booed heavy when he mentioned The Rock's name. But he did allude to the fact that he will not hesitate next time they're in the ring together. And he will do anything he can to win. That's a more edgier Cody Rhodes. This is a Cody Rhodes that I want to see, that most people have been pushing for. Not a heel Cody, but someone that's not, goody two shoes, John Cena 2.0.
Yeah.
So from that aspect, I think Cody is back and it's going to sell, and I'm excited to see him and Cena go at it, whether that be at SummerSlam, which I think this filler feud that they've got going on, as I alluded to, I'm still annoyed that both titles are tied up in this main event on Saturday. And it is a filler feud. I don't care what you two say. It's not like when Roman and Solo had a tag match against the Usos at main event. Like, that meant something. This doesn't mean anything. This is literally just, they've put Logan Paul with John Cena because they want Cena to get heat. Well, guess what? Cena's getting cheered every arena, every show he's on. And Jey Uso's in 3 different storylines at the moment, and 4 if you include, so you've got him, Logan, him, Gunther, him and Seth's faction, and then him in this tag match. Like, it's ridiculous.
I read
Go on.
no, sorry, go on, Karen.
No. I was just going to say I prefer my titles. If one title's tied up in the match, fair enough. Both,
No, I get that. I did read that. I think it was last week. Their hope originally was to have. Is it Travis Scott, who came out at WrestleMania and came out was to have him.
This last week.
Fiend. That prick.
Obviously, he doesn't want to get a receipt from Cody Rhodes, so he's bottled out of it, and we've got Logan Paul instead. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not as worried about the titles as you are, but the match doesn't really do much for me. The only thing I can say, because I didn't watch, like I said, I haven't seen everything. When I first started watching the clip of Cody Rhodes in the ring and how he was talking when I was watching it on my phone, is I thought this was an old clip and the build up to WrestleMania 40, because, like you say, he was fired up, aggressive, edgy.
Cena was great. Cena was quality. Your wannabes, you want my money, but you'll never get it because you're desperate, Cody Rhodes, and you're lazy, Jey Uso.
I liked that line.
And then Logan Paul was, believe it or not, and you'll have to go back and just watch his part of the promo, Dave. He was the best on the mic out of all 3 of them. Because, again, as I alluded to in the intro, Jey Uso literally said 4 letters, 1 word, crowd went yeet, and then they all brawled. But Logan Paul, there was a line that he said, it was something like, I could walk on water, and you guys would think that's because I can't swim. Like, he was really good on the mic. He was so good. He had the crowd in the palm of his hands. He bounced off Cena really well. I can't remember. There were so many good lines that he had when he was just sort of like, I'm here with the WWE champion. The only problem is I'm standing here and we're looking at the fake champion and I should be the champion.
Well, I mean, we've mentioned this on our recap shows this year, how much better Logan Paul is getting on the mic and how his control of the crowd is now starting to take effect. So it sounds like this is his peak so far then.
Yeah, well, I was really impressed. It was like almost coming of age in terms of like he can hold himself on the main stage with big players like Cena and Cody. Let's maybe not mention Jay too much. But he's a perfect heel. And honestly, if he sticks around and he does his time, he's only going to get respect from the haters. I still think he'll be champ by the end of the year.
It's a big prediction, that.
Yeah, I mean, who would he take it off?
It's irrelevant at the moment. Like he is so hated, and he gets eyes on the product from outside of wrestling fans. You know what I mean? So
We could do with him on this show.
If he earns his stripes in the ring, which he's doing now, and he's not disappeared after Mania, and it looks like he is gonna have it. I do think Jay will beat Gunther after Money in the Bank.
He doesn't have to be around
at Night of the Champions.
He doesn't have to be around a lot because we've been conditioned with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns that the champ doesn't need to be around as much and create the champ as an attraction. So I'm not opposed to him. You know, if anything, I don't want to see him every week. I don't think anyone does. So I think that would keep the heat on him even more. So I wouldn't even think that's a problem. Just, yeah, I suppose it depends. I don't know if I can see him headlining WrestleMania yet. So at what point this year would he get the belt? Who would he get it off? And how long would he keep it? Maybe next year. But I don't know. I think we're almost at SummerSlam, and I can't see them hot potatoing it. But they definitely could, because, like you said, he's heel. So
I just think it will lead to something like Night of the Champions in Saudi, or possibly at SummerSlam. But I still think that might be a cash in with Seth. But there's definitely legs in that. But anyway, my point was going back to Cody Rhodes, I think, and SmackDown for that matter.
Yes.
Cody was always on every week in the build from Rumble to Mania. He was there every week. The program with Kevin Owens. Oh no, he was injured for a little bit, wasn't he?
A little bit, not a lot though.
A little bit, but not long. The star power's there, and if you've got Cena ducking in and out, you have got heels, and this might bring me to the next thing I want to talk about. Ethan Page needs to be on one of the shows. He was brilliant. And
I knew you'd like Ethan Page. I knew you'd like Ethan Page.
So I think when we first started playing the new WWE 2K game, I was like, yeah, I've seen bits of him on NXT, and he is class. And he's just like, he almost seems like the most ready-made person to step up from NXT. They've got that Javon Evans who's good, but I still think they're probably gonna ship him back down to NXT, and he'll do something for a year or so. But I really like him.
He's got that Bobby Roode sort of esque, just confidence, and like you say, he completely looks the part. And like you say, he just deserves to be on one of the main shows. It's seamless transfer, isn't it?
Yeah.
The reason Page did not succeed in AEW was because you had him and MJF occupying almost exactly the same space at the same time, and they were the same, basically, by and large, the same character. Now, Ethan Page has obviously stepped away from that and is now joined WWE, and he's able to really, really be all ego. And it's really, really good. It's really entertaining. The guy can talk. The guy can go. He's everything. He's everything in NXT at the moment. And I really, I really hope he does good things, and I hope he sticks around for a while, because I think he's really good.
Class. What do you think
Top
about
class.
Naomi winning, boys?
Not an issue with it. I think it builds nice. I think I still
predictable, wasn't it? Let's be fair.
She's not winning the briefcase. That's guaranteed. She's not winning that.
Wow.
She's not winning it.
Really?
Not winning it. No, 100% not winning it.
She's my pick. A spoiler alert if we do a Money in the Bank prediction show.
Yes,
she
that's
is
something
my pick.
That's something we need to do, I think. So who do you think's going to win then, Andy? Alexa Bliss, Roxanne, Rhea,
Rhea.
or Valkyria?
Rhea.
Okay. She needs it, does she?
I don't
No.
think she needs it at all.
I don't think she needs it.
I think it makes perfect sense, and it's a nod to her character work as a heel. Like, she was not even mid as a face. She was one of the 6th, 7th, 8th women in the division. Feel the glow or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh,
And
God. it's
arguably now she's the top heel in the women's division. Like,
well, I would say
it makes perfect sense. She wins the match. Her promo with Bianca Belair, and again, Dave maybe watched that. The whole stuff where Bianca comes out because it's in Knoxville, it's her hometown. Her mum and dad are there, and then basically she was like, "Oh yeah, well I called your mum to see where you were, but you weren't in the house. I even swung by the house, and no one was there, so I let myself in." And she was like, "Oh, I looked at your diary and stuff," and it was like stalker-esque. Like, she's just coming across as crazy. I think she's, absolutely money at the moment. She's quality. It makes perfect sense for her to win Money in the Bank, beat Tiffy, and then at SummerSlam have some... Because don't forget, Mangil's still involved.
Yes.
Mangill and her hate each other, and Bianca as well. So that could be a nice little triple threat.
Yeah,
I mean, that could be potentially, those three could be, and I can't believe I'm saying this, story of the year if Naomi continues her character work as this, like, schizophrenic, and you've got Mangill and Bianca, because I think they might have had a bit of a set too. I can't remember off the top of my head on the show. But yeah, she is my pick 100%. Don't get me wrong, it's good to see Alexa Bliss back and Stephanie Vakir. Oh, I'm spoiler alert. But yeah, there's lots of women in the Money in the Bank match that obviously could win, and it would be nice for them to win, but I still think Naomi's your pick.
That's a compelling argument, and you're right, it does make sense. I'm also looking for a new feud to come out of this match, possibly for Rhea. It'd be interesting to see where we go with that. I think we'll talk more about that on our Raw recap.
I wouldn't be upset if Naomi did win. I'm just trying to think, what are the 3 qualifiers from SmackDown? We got Naomi, Julia, and Alexa. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yes. So of the 3 SmackDown girls, it's definitely Naomi most likely, because I don't think Julia's ready yet. She's still looking at the US title. Alexa's there for the sort of like legacy pop more than anything, and to build towards something with the Wyatt Six, hopefully.
And then you got Roxanne and Rhea on the other.
Roxanne, Rhea, and spoiler alert on the other one. So
Stephanie Vakir, yeah.
But yeah, so I think of the 2, it's going to be of the 6, most likely a Rhea and Naomi. And the reason I would say Rhea is because they still have to pay off this feud with Io. But because Rhea's never pinned Io, and like if she won the briefcase, she can just cash it in and pin her and break that duck.
Why does she need to do that?
What do you mean, why?
Well, why does that need to happen now? Because that's what I'm saying. She is the main event woman on Raw. Yeah. I just don't think she needs to win the Money in the Bank. Let's face it, at any given time, she can get involved in a storyline.
She's never done it. She's never done it. But she's never done it. She's never won the Money in the Bank. She's never even competed in Money in the Bank. This is her first one. Like, if Charlotte was in the match, you'd say, oh, Charlotte's probably going to win. Or Becky was in the match, you'd say, oh, Becky stands a chance of winning.
No, because I've kind of said that. The thing about on our Raw recap, that's the bit I don't get about Seth Rollins being in it. I get it from a storyline point of view, but at his stage in his career, I don't see why he's in it. And I'd say exactly the same thing about Becky and Charlotte. And I'd say Rhea, not so much. Of course not. She hasn't been on top as long as those 2 were. If you're in the match and you're older and you're more established, I would say it's your job to be putting other people over and making other people look better, not necessarily winning it. But every now and again, if it's for the benefit of the storyline and the storyline is strong enough, then go with it. So, say Raw, for example, Seth Rollins, I'd love him to win. But should he win at this stage in his career? Probably not. But it's the best thing this year to happen because it's the best storyline. I'm not convinced Rhea is the best storyline. I love Rhea. She's absolutely amazing. She's probably my favourite women's wrestler, with the exception of Io Sky. But I don't know. I don't think she needs to win it, and I don't think it's the right story to win it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens because we don't know what the stories are, do we? We can only take what we watch at the moment and guess the future.
I agree. I don't think Rhea needs to win it. She could interject herself in a title match at any point. Whereas any of the other women who are in it, it's a bit more of a... You'd be more surprised, wouldn't you, if they won and were like, oh, she's in the title picture now. And it's the same, same thing with the gentleman. And I said, this is why I said to you, I don't know if it was on one of our shows or we were talking offline, that's why I like Money in the Bank. And I like it when someone
you did say that,
unsuspecting wins because it creates mystique around what's going to happen.
But remember, we're also assuming that they stay on the same brand. Winning the Money in the Bank is an excuse to swap brand and cash in on a different champion as well, which would completely change the storylines. So that could work with any of the women, couldn't it? That's the joy of Money in the Bank, people.
And now, as we're talking about Money in the Bank, this guy, wow, every qualifying match, I think, has been pretty predictable. You knew who was probably going to win, and you even knew who was going to get pinfalls in some matches. I did not have Andrade down to win this match.
Mm-mm.
I think he's a great performer. Well deserved. I felt a bit for Carmelo Hayes, but the thing is, Jacob Fatu's already got a story. Carmelo's probably got a story going with The Miz and Aleister Black, and at some point, I'd imagine Miz is going to turn on Hayes or vice versa. Andrade hasn't got anything going on. The only thing I will say is that he's in the match probably as a body as opposed to someone you genuinely think is going to win. Like, it would have been nice if they built him up a bit so you thought if he does win, he's got a chance of winning the match, the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Who are the SmackDown representatives again? So it's
LA Knight,
Andrade,
Solo
LA Knight,
Sikoa, and Andrade.
So we're all in agreement that not a single member of the SmackDown roster is winning Money in the Bank then? Yeah.
Well,
not on the men's
Seth,
roster.
Well, I thought if Seth didn't qualify, I thought Solo would win.
Yeah.
Solo was my pick, but and based off what's been happening on Raw, which we can talk about, maybe that might not happen anymore. I might not be as confident that Seth's going to win.
No, I was just thinking that without giving anything away about Raw, but the Money in the Bank match is chaos at the best of times, but there's a lot of potential outside interference in this match when you consider that no one else in the Seth feud is in this ladder match. There's a lot of potential for interference in this one that could delay Mr. Rollins from getting his title match.
Yeah. But thoughts on the match itself? I thought it was amazing.
Really good. Yeah.
The finish was really good. Obviously, the Jacob and Solo thing is now reaching boiling point.
He had a massive moment after the match backstage as well, between the end of the match and the final the main event promo. He was like throwing shit about. It was awesome. Yeah. I'm just loving everything Jacob at the minute. He's a fucking beast. So
excellent.
But yeah, it was a good match. It was a really good match. The only other thing I can really think of with regards to that one is I felt like during Carmelo and Miz's little backstage tete-a-tete, I thought Melo was coming across as a little bit of a face. He was working a little bit of a face motif in terms of his verbiage and his approach to the Miz's sort of, we will do this and we will become champ. And he was like, no. I'm in the match. I got myself there. I'm going to win and I'm going to be world champion. I appreciate what you've done for me, but, pump the brakes. But I thought he was coming across slightly less heelish, let's put it that way, rather than face.
I'd love to see him as a face.
Well, I think originally, I'm right in saying, before he turned on Trick Williams, he was a face. In NXT, he was a face.
He definitely had a period of time, but not on SmackDown or being...
No, not on SmackDown.
As he is now.
No.
yeah, I think he's got the character to run with that. I actually think he'd be more successful as a face, personally. But yeah, no, I agree. So overall, then, boys, coming from someone who didn't manage to catch all of the show, you're both very impressed with it. Give us a rating. Give us a Dave Meltzer rating out of 5 for this week's SmackDown.
Well, we didn't even speak about the Wyatts turning up. We didn't speak about Damian Priest promo, all matches intrinsically, but I would have given it a 4-star. I was really impressed with SmackDown this week.
Mm. Yeah, 3.75. 3.75 to a 4. I'd say definitely it was really good. I do want to say just quickly, Damian Priest's promo was excellent. That's the first time I've really heard him talk and be like really, really good as well. I actually really enjoyed that. But
can I? Sorry, Andy. I really want you to continue. But my notes here for Damian Priest, I put El Campeone Wepa isn't over at all. In fact, his promo was quite cringe because of it. Although there wasn't anything particularly bad. I thought I thought the crowd weren't into him. He wasn't over. I sat here and I cringed for him. There is something about him. He could be really cool. He reminded me of like Roman Reigns' big dog era.
Yeah, I get
where
that.
There's just something missing. And you know, don't get me wrong, our opinions never align, but I just thought it was fucking shit.
I think I liked the bit where he talked about Drew being respectful. Like he was talking about Drew with some element of respect. Which I quite liked. But yeah, I mean, I like you said, we don't always agree. So I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, it was a promo to sort of build up him and Jacob, and it was okay.
I thought when he said that bit about respecting Drew, and he appreciates him coming in as the warrior or whatever he said. I thought he only said that was ad hoc because the crowd were booing him and they were cheering Drew. Whenever he said something about Drew, they were like, boo, boo. And then he went, yeah, well, I kind of appreciate it. And then if you listen, because I was listening to my headphones, you can actually hear some of the crowd like clapping. I don't know. I just thought it was turd.
I think he needs a heel turn, like a big heel turn, like a really, almost like a Roman Reigns style heel turn where he just, I don't know how I'd book it because he's sort of awkward, he's lanky, he's big, he's not
his
really
matches, there's nothing wrong with his matches though.
No, his matches are sick.
Every match he has is really good, but his character is
a bit lacking.
In the gutter.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Dave.
No, it's not. It's interesting. I like it. I'm just curious. Is he now ahead of Bret Hart and Gunther on the mic, or is he? That's more for our long-time viewers who caught all of our shows. But so two varying opinions there, which I don't know who to believe. I'll have to watch it.
I'd believe the kayfabe assassin.
Yeah,
over,
I will just watch.
No, just watch it. Just watch it. Make your own decision. I mean, I didn't think it was the worst promo on the show.
I've got to admit, I don't hate Damian Priest as much as Fraz certainly does, and I know you're not his biggest fan either. But the one thing I've said for a long time, especially really since he left the Judgment Day, is there is something missing, and I'm not quite sure what it is. So if that's still what you think, Fraz, then we probably align on that one. But
okay,
I have warned to him.
Before we move on to Andy's closing statement for this video, I don't hate Damian Priest. I just think that he is failing to get over at the moment, and therefore every time he is on the mic, he's very cringe for me.
I'm pretty sure I've sat in your house and you said, I fucking hate Damian Priest. Is that not a quote?
I think I may have been referring to his attire, David.
It
does come across as some kind of early 90s bondage master, but
he looks like the missing member. I was going to say, he looks like the missing member of Demolition.
I think Crush pulled it off better than he did.
Axe, Smash, Crush, and Smush. I don't know.
I reckon Mr. Fuji would pull off that ring attire better, to be fair.
Magic. Andy, any final comments?
No, I think just echoing what everything else has been said so far. It was a half decent episode of SmackDown, one of the better ones. I actually did watch it and think, actually, do you know what? This was a pretty tight 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I think because I'm watching them after the fact, I'm getting all the breaks cut out, so it's not coming in at 3 hours for me. It's coming in at like 2:20, 2:30. So that felt a bit tighter and a bit more easy to digest. Yeah, nothing really, to be honest with you. I enjoyed it all. It was all good. I did skip Selena Vega versus Alba Fire though, because fuck only knows why anyone cares about that.
Same. Right. Thank
Well,
you.
I'm very
ladies and
impressed, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your reviews of a 3.75 and a 4-star rating. I will go and watch it now.
As I was saying, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Like, share, subscribe, and we will be with you for our Raw recap very soon. Adios, amigos.